billionaire badman hires a humble young boy to clean the house. After a year, the boy suffers an accident that changes the man's lifestyle forever. The rain fell in relentless sheets against the floor-to-ceiling windows of Viktor Ramirez's Seattle mansion, a stark metaphor for the emotional landscape that had defined his life for decades. At 52, Viktor was a man who had constructed his world with the same ruthless precision he applied to his technology empire. Each element carefully selected, meticulously maintained, and immediately discarded when it no longer served a purpose. Viktor's journey from a small, impoverished industrial town to the pinnacle of technological innovation was not a story of overnight success, but of calculated resilience. His parents, a factory worker and a seamstress, had instilled in him a belief that survival demanded more than hard work. It required a strategic mind that could anticipate challenges and eliminate weaknesses before they could manifest. By the age of 25, Viktor had already developed his first groundbreaking software system, selling it to a major tech corporation for a sum that would transform his family's generational trajectory. But success had not softened him. If anything, it had crystallized his belief that emotional vulnerability was a form of weakness, a luxury he could not afford. His tech company, Horizon Innovations, was renowned for developing cutting-edge artificial intelligence systems that could predict market trends with uncanny accuracy. The same analytical mind that could deconstruct complex algorithmic patterns seemed incapable of navigating the more nuanced terrain of human relationships. Maria Gonzalez had been Viktor's housekeeper for the past 8 years, a woman in her late 50s who had seen countless employees come and go, but who had remained a constant in Viktor's carefully curated life. She was the only person who seemed immune to his intimidating demeanor, often scolding him with the same maternal directness she had used with her own children. "You cannot continue changing housekeepers every few months," Maria had told him during their last conversation. Her voice carried the weight of frustration and genuine concern. "These young people are not disposable resources, Viktor. They are human beings trying to build their lives." Viktor had dismissed her commentary with a wave of his hand, but something in her tone had penetrated his usual defensive barrier. When she mentioned her nephew, a hard-working young man who was putting himself through school while supporting his family, Viktor found himself unexpectedly intrigued. Daniel Martinez represented a world entirely foreign to Viktor's experience. At 17, he embodied a type of resilience that went beyond professional ambition. It was a deeply personal commitment to family and community. The Martinez household was a symphony of controlled chaos. In a modest 2-bedroom apartment in the working-class district of Seattle, Daniel's parents, Raphael, a construction worker, and Elena, a part-time hospital cleaner, had created a sanctuary of love and mutual support. Their 3 children, Daniel, his younger sister Maria, and brother Carlos, understood that their family's survival depended on collective effort. Daniel's days were a carefully choreographed dance of responsibility. He would wake at 5:30 a.m., help his mother prepare breakfast, ensure his younger siblings were ready for school, and then work a morning shift at a local cafe before attending community college classes. Afternoons were spent tutoring younger students, and evenings were dedicated to household chores and studying. His dream of becoming an engineer was not merely a personal aspiration, but a promise, a commitment to create opportunities for his family and community. Every academic achievement, every extra hour worked, was a brick in the foundation of a better future. The Ramirez mansion was an architectural marvel, a testament to minimalist design and technological integration. Smart systems controlled everything from lighting to temperature, creating an environment that felt more like a sophisticated laboratory than a home. Daniel arrived precisely at 2 p.m., wearing a freshly pressed shirt and dark slacks. His appearance was modest but immaculately maintained, a reflection of his understanding that professionalism was not about expensive clothing, but about respect and attention to detail. Victor observed him from behind a sleek glass desk, his posture rigid, his eyes calculating. The initial moments of their interaction felt like a strategic assessment. Two individuals from fundamentally different worlds, each trying to decode the other. "Tell me about your experience," Victor said, his voice a controlled baritone that suggested he was more accustomed to issuing commands than engaging in conversation. Daniel's response was measured, thoughtful. "I've worked various housekeeping and maintenance roles since I was 15. My focus has always been on understanding the specific needs of each environment and exceeding expectations." It was not a rehearsed speech, but a genuine articulation of his work philosophy. Victor found himself unexpectedly intrigued. The young man before him did not attempt to embellish or impress. He simply stated facts with a quiet confidence. A series of practical tests followed. Cleaning complex surfaces, managing the mansion's intricate technological systems, arranging spaces with a sense of both functionality and aesthetic harmony. Daniel moved with an economy of motion that suggested deep training and genuine care. As the interview concluded, something indefinable hung in the air. It was not merely about finding a housekeeper, but about two individuals who represented dramatically different paths of human experience, finding an unexpected point of intersection. Victor, who had built his empire on the ability to recognize potential in complex systems, saw something in Daniel that transcended the typical employer-employee dynamic. Here was a young man whose approach to work was not about temporary employment, but about a holistic commitment to excellence. "When can you start?" Victor asked, his tone more a statement than a question. Daniel's smile was subtle, a mixture of gratitude and quiet determination. "I can begin immediately, Mr. Ramirez." Little did either of them know that this moment marked the beginning of a journey that would fundamentally transform both their lives. A narrative of unexpected connection, personal growth, and the profound ways human beings can impact each other's trajectories. The rhythm of the Ramirez mansion changed subtly with Daniel's arrival. Where previous housekeepers had treated their work as a transactional obligation, Daniel approached each task with an almost meditative precision that transformed mundane maintenance into an art form. Victor first noticed this difference on a crisp Wednesday morning. He had returned late the previous night from a grueling international conference, his mind still tangled with complex negotiations and technological challenges. The mansion, which had always been immaculate, now seemed to breathe with a different quality of cleanliness. His leather briefcase, typically left carelessly on the marble entrance hall floor, was not just placed on its designated stand, but carefully positioned at the perfect angle. The subtle bronze-toned leather was polished, its edges aligned with geometric precision. Nearby, a collection of technical journals, publications most housekeepers would have simply stacked or ignored, were arranged in a cascading display that suggested both functionality and aesthetic consideration. Daniel had not just cleaned, he had understood. What Victor did not immediately realize was the intricate methodology behind Daniel's approach. Growing up in a family where resources were perpetually scarce, Daniel had learned that true efficiency was about more than speed. It was about comprehensive understanding. Each room in the massive mansion was a complex ecosystem to him. The sophisticated smart home systems, the rare technological artifacts Victor had collected from around the world, the delicate balance between functionality and design. These were not just objects to be dusted, but systems to be respected and maintained. When he cleaned Victor's home office, Daniel would first spend time understanding the technological infrastructure. He learned the specific maintenance requirements of each device, the optimal environmental conditions for preserving high-end electronic equipment, and the nuanced cleaning techniques that would preserve their functionality. Despite his meticulous approach, Daniel maintained strict professional boundaries. He was not there to become friends with his employer, but to provide a service with utmost professionalism. Yet his inherent curiosity and genuine respect for craftsmanship began to create subtle bridges of communication. Viktor, a man accustomed to transactional relationships, found himself increasingly intrigued by the young man's approach. During occasional encounters in the kitchen or shared spaces, brief conversations revealed layers of depth he had not anticipated. One afternoon, while Daniel was reorganizing a complex network of server equipment in a dedicated technology room, Viktor unexpectedly entered. "You seem quite comfortable with technical systems," Viktor remarked, more an observation than a question. Daniel's response was characteristically measured. "Technology has always fascinated me, Mr. Ramirez. In my community college engineering courses, I'm learning that understanding systems is about seeing the interconnectedness of components, not just their individual functions." The statement was profound in its simplicity. Viktor, who had built an entire technological empire on similar philosophical principles, found himself momentarily stunned by the parallel. What Viktor did not know, what no one in his immediate circle understood, was the depth of challenge Daniel navigated daily. His seemingly effortless performance was the result of meticulously planned time management and an extraordinary work ethic. Viktor began to notice small, almost imperceptible changes in his living environment. It wasn't just about cleanliness, but about a holistic sense of care that seemed to permeate every space Daniel touched. Technical manuals were not just organized, but annotated with subtle bookmarks. Technological artifacts were maintained with a level of expertise that suggested deep understanding rather than mere surface-level maintenance. A critical moment occurred when one of Viktor's most complex server systems began showing potential signs of thermal stress. Most housekeepers would have either ignored the issue or called technical support immediately. Daniel, leveraging his emerging engineering knowledge, first conducted a comprehensive diagnostic assessment. He identified a potential cooling system inefficiency, documented his observations with precise technical notes, and presented a preliminary report to Viktor. The report was not just a list of potential problems, but a thoughtful analysis that demonstrated systems thinking, the ability to see interconnected challenges and potential solutions. Viktor was stunned. This was not the work of a typical housekeeper, but of someone who understood technological ecosystems at a fundamental level. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the dynamic between Viktor and Daniel began to shift. It was not friendship, not yet, but a growing mutual respect that transcended traditional employment boundaries. Viktor, a man who had built his entire career on identifying potential, began to see Daniel not just as an employee, but as a developing professional with remarkable capabilities. Daniel simultaneously maintained his profound respect for professional boundaries, while quietly absorbing the technological and professional insights available in this extraordinary environment. What was emerging was a relationship built on something more profound than conventional employer-employee interactions. It was a nascent mentorship, a recognition of potential, a connection that defied traditional social and economic boundaries. Neither Viktor nor Daniel fully understood the transformative journey they had begun, but the seeds of a remarkable human connection had been carefully, quietly planted. The mansion stood as a silent witness to this unfolding narrative, a space where professional excellence, personal determination, and unexpected human connection were slowly, beautifully converging. The tech world moved with the velocity of a digital hurricane, and Viktor Ramirez had always been at its epicenter. Horizon Innovations, his technological empire, was on the brink of a make-or-break moment, a massive contract with a global telecommunications consortium that would either solidify his company's market dominance or expose its most vulnerable strategic weaknesses. The contract was more than a business deal. It represented years of technological development, intricate algorithmic innovations, and a vision of interconnected global communication systems that could potentially revolutionize how emerging markets access digital infrastructure. It was a Tuesday evening when the first tremors of potential failure began to ripple through Viktor's carefully constructed professional ecosystem. The Telecommunications Consortium's lead strategic advisor had discovered a potential vulnerability in Horizon's proposed AI-driven network management system. A complexity that threatened to unravel months of intensive negotiations. Viktor's home office transformed into a war room. Screens flickered with complex data visualizations, communication logs, and strategic analysis documents. The normally pristine space became a testament to intense intellectual combat. Coffee mugs half empty, technical schematics scattered across multiple monitors, the air thick with professional tension. Daniel, who was completing his evening maintenance routine, could sense the electric charge of professional crisis permeating the mansion's usually serene environment. What Viktor did not immediately realize was that Daniel represented a perspective entirely different from the high-stakes technological ecosystem he inhabited. Growing up in a working-class immigrant community, Daniel had witnessed innovation through a lens of practical survival. Technology not as an abstract corporate strategy, but as a potential pathway to social mobility and community empowerment. When Daniel brought Viktor his customary evening tea, a ritual he had developed understanding the billionaire's late-night work habits, he noticed the profound stress etched into Viktor's features. "Is everything all right, Mr. Ramirez?" The question was simple, devoid of presumption. Viktor, typically guarded, found himself unexpectedly vulnerable. A potential contract failure that could significantly impact our technological infrastructure development in emerging markets. Daniel listened, not with the technical detachment of a corporate advisor, but with the holistic understanding of someone who had seen technology's transformative potential in marginalized communities. "May I ask a question?" Daniel's tone was respectful, professional. "When you develop these communication systems, what's the primary goal beyond technological innovation?" The question caught Viktor off guard. Most of his advisors spoke in complex technical jargon, discussing market penetration, algorithmic efficiency, and competitive positioning. Daniel's query suggested something more fundamental. Viktor explained the technical specifications: AI-driven network management, predictive maintenance algorithms, bandwidth optimization strategies. But Daniel's follow-up question revealed a depth of insight Viktor had not anticipated. But what does this mean for the people in communities with limited technological access? How does this innovation translate into real-world improvement? Daniel shared stories from his community, how limited technological infrastructure had created systemic barriers. He spoke not as a technical expert, but as someone who had lived the real-world implications of technological inequality. His perspective was not theoretical. It was grounded in lived experience, in the tangible ways technology could transform social ecosystems. Over the next several hours, an extraordinary collaboration emerged. Viktor, initially skeptical, found himself deeply engaged with Daniel's community-centered perspective. Together, they began reimagining the technological proposal, not just as a corporate contract, but as a potential catalyst for social transformation. Daniel's insights were not about technical complexity, but about human connectivity. He helped Viktor see beyond algorithmic efficiency to the profound human impact of technological innovation. The breakthrough came at 3:47 a.m. With Daniel's perspective providing a crucial human-centered framework, Viktor reconstructed the entire proposal. The revised strategy demonstrated not just technological superiority, but a profound understanding of community needs. When the Telecommunications Consortium received the updated proposal, The response was transformative. What had seemed like a potential failure became a landmark innovation strategy. Something fundamental had shifted in their relationship. It was no longer simply an employer-employee dynamic, but a nascent mentorship, a recognition of potential that transcended traditional social boundaries. Viktor saw in Daniel not just a housekeeper, but a potential strategic thinker with a unique, invaluable perspective. Daniel, simultaneously, began to understand the complex human systems that drove technological innovation. As dawn broke, illuminating the mansion with soft, contemplative light, both men were fundamentally changed. Viktor had been reminded that true innovation requires understanding human experience. Daniel had glimpsed the intricate global systems that could drive social transformation. The business crisis had become something more, a moment of profound human connection, of unexpected mutual understanding. The mansion stood as a silent witness to this extraordinary intersection of personal and professional transformation, a space where human potential could emerge in the most unexpected ways. The Martinez household existed in a delicate balance of hope and survival, a microcosm of immigrant resilience that pulsed with quiet determination. Each morning was a carefully choreographed dance of mutual support, with Daniel serving as the primary conductor of this familial symphony. At 5:30 a.m., long before the city's first light began to soften the darkness, Daniel's alarm clock would break the night's silence. But this was no ordinary awakening. It was a moment of strategic preparation, a daily mission of familial preservation. The small kitchen, cramped but immaculately maintained, became Daniel's first workspace of the day. Worn linoleum floors and slightly chipped ceramic tiles bore witness to years of similar mornings. Here, Daniel transformed simple ingredients into a breakfast that was more than mere sustenance. It was an act of love, of commitment. For Carlos, his younger brother preparing for a mathematics exam, Daniel prepared eggs with precise protein calculation, brain food for academic challenge. Maria's violin sheet music lay carefully placed beside a carefully prepared lunch, each sandwich cut with geometric precision, each piece of fruit selected for maximum nutritional value. Elena, his mother, moved around him like a complimentary dance partner. Years of hospital cleaning work had taught her efficiency, and in Daniel, she saw a reflection of her own relentless determination. Daniel's bicycle was not merely a mode of transportation. It was a symbol of his multifaceted existence, a mobile bridge connecting the various worlds he inhabited. The bicycle itself told a story of resourcefulness. Second-hand, purchased from a local community exchange program, it had been meticulously maintained. Daniel had spent countless hours learning mechanical repair, transforming what could have been a limitation into an opportunity for skill development. Each component had been carefully selected, each bolt tightened with an engineer's precision. The reflective vest he wore was not a random safety item, but a strategically chosen piece of equipment, visibility translated into personal security. The path from the Martinez apartment to the Ramirez mansion was more than a simple commute. It was a traversal through Seattle's complex social topography, a journey that mapped economic landscapes and cultural boundaries. Daniel's route wound through neighborhoods that seemed to tell competing stories of urban experience. Each pedal stroke represented a form of social navigation, physical movement that was simultaneously a metaphorical journey of aspiration and potential. October 17th carried a particular atmospheric quality. Autumn in Seattle possessed a distinctive character, not simply a season, but a sensory experience. Misty air carried hints of moisture, of impending transformation. Maple leaves, caught between vibrant orange and muted brown, danced with subtle wind currents. Daniel's morning routine remained unchanged, unaware that this day would become a pivotal moment of transformation. Routine, for Daniel, was not monotony but a carefully constructed strategy of survival and advancement. Every action, every moment was an investment in his family's future, in his educational dreams, in the broader narrative of social mobility. His mind, even during this morning commute, was a multi-threaded processor. Simultaneously, he was reviewing engineering concepts for upcoming community college classes, mentally planning household maintenance tasks for the Ramirez mansion, considering potential scholarship applications, tracking family financial strategies. The bicycle moved with the steady rhythm of his controlled, purposeful existence, a human algorithm of continuous optimization. Little did Daniel know that the next moments would rewrite every carefully constructed plan, every meticulously maintained routine. The city moved around him, unaware that a moment of profound transformation was approaching. A collision that would reshape not just individual lives, but entire understanding of human connection. The drive to Harborview Medical Center became a metaphorical journey of personal transformation for Viktor Ramirez. His high-end electric vehicle, typically a symbol of technological achievement, now felt like a fragile capsule carrying something more profound than professional success. Years of calculating market strategies, of understanding complex technological ecosystems, had not prepared Viktor for the raw, unscripted vulnerability of human suffering. The sterile medical corridors would become a landscape of unexpected emotional revelation. Harborview represented more than a medical facility. It was a crossroads of human experience, where social distinctions dissolved, replaced by a universal language of hope, fear, and fundamental human connection. Viktor's entrance into the emergency waiting area created an immediate visual dissonance. His tailored charcoal suit, typically an armor of corporate power, now seemed incongruously formal against the backdrop of anxious family members and clinical efficiency. Daniel Martinez stood as a sentinel of familial protection. A construction worker with hands marked by years of physical labor, he initially regarded Viktor with a mixture of suspicion and defensive territorialism. Elena, more perceptive, recognized something deeper in Viktor's presence. Her intuition, honed by years of navigating complex social landscapes as an immigrant, detected genuine concern beyond professional obligation. The waiting area became a microcosm of broader societal tensions. A billionaire technology entrepreneur sitting alongside a working-class family challenged every conventional narrative of social interaction. Daniel's siblings added another layer of emotional complexity. Maria, studious and protective, observed Viktor with analytical curiosity. Carlos, younger and more emotionally volatile, oscillated between anger at the accident and deep concern for his brother. The neurosurgeons spoke in carefully modulated tones, a professional language balancing clinical precision with human empathy. Daniel's medical profile revealed a complex injury landscape. Multiple fractures in the right leg, a complicated skull fracture requiring specialized neurological intervention, significant soft tissue trauma, potential long-term neurological implications. Viktor found himself absorbing medical terminology with the same analytical intensity he typically reserved for technological specifications. But here, the data points represented human potential, not market strategies. Hospital waiting becomes its own form of meditation, a suspended state where time loses conventional meaning. Minutes stretch into emotional eternities, each moment pregnant with possibility and uncertainty. Viktor, typically accustomed to controlling narrative trajectories, now found himself in a rare position of complete vulnerability. His technological empire, his carefully constructed professional identity, meant nothing within these clinical corridors. During a quiet moment, Elena approached Viktor, not as a supplicant, but as a fellow human navigating complex emotional terrain. "Daniel always spoke about you," she said, her voice carrying layers of unspoken narrative. Not as an employer, but as someone who represented possibility. The statement caught Viktor off guard. He had viewed their relationship through a professional lens, never fully comprehending its deeper psychological dimensions. Elena shared glimpses of Daniel's aspirations, not just personal dreams, but a vision of technological innovation that could transform marginalized communities. She spoke of his scholarship applications, his engineering studies, his commitment to creating technological pathways for communities often left behind. Viktor realized he was hearing a story far more complex than a simple employer-employee narrative. This was a testament to human resilience, to the profound potential that exists beyond traditional socioeconomic boundaries. Hours passed. Medical updates became markers of emotional geography. Each report represented not just clinical data, but a potential future. Daniel's potential future. Viktor's presence transcended conventional expectations. He was not performing social obligation, but participating in a profound human experience. The accident had become a crucible, transforming not just Daniel's physical reality, but reshaping Viktor's understanding of human potential. As night settled over the hospital, a new narrative was emerging, one of unexpected connection, of human potential that defied traditional social boundaries. Human transformation rarely announces itself with dramatic fanfare. More often, it emerges through subtle recalibrations, microscopic adjustments in perspective that gradually reshape entire existential landscapes. For Viktor Ramirez, Daniel's accident became the unexpected catalyst of a profound personal revolution. The sterile hospital corridors, with their perpetual fluorescent lighting and hushed medical conversations, had served as an unlikely crucible of emotional alchemy. Viktor's professional identity had always been constructed around a singular narrative: technological innovation as a means of market dominance. Success was measured in algorithmic precision, market penetration, and financial metrics. Emotional complexity was a variable to be managed, not explored. Daniel's journey of recovery challenged every fundamental assumption of this worldview. The transformation began with seemingly insignificant moments: sitting beside Daniel during rehabilitation sessions, understanding the intricate human stories behind medical recovery, listening to Daniel's dreams of technological innovation for marginalized communities, witnessing the collective resilience of the Martinez family. Each interaction peeled back layers of Viktor's carefully constructed professional persona, revealing a more nuanced understanding of human potential. Horizon Innovations underwent a radical philosophical restructuring. What had previously been a purely profit-driven technological enterprise now incorporated a more holistic vision of social impact. Viktor began implementing comprehensive programs that redefined corporate social responsibility, community technology, access initiatives, establishing digital learning centers in underserved neighborhoods, providing free technological education and resources, creating scholarship programs for students from working-class backgrounds, inclusive technology development, design and communication technologies specifically addressing community needs, developing user interfaces that considered diverse linguistic and cultural contexts, creating affordable technological solutions for emerging markets, educational transformation programs, partnering with community colleges to develop practical engineering curricula, creating mentorship programs, connecting professional technologists with students, funding research focused on technological solutions for social challenges. These weren't merely corporate strategies. They represented a deeply personal commitment, a direct result of Viktor's transformative experiences with Daniel and his family. Success was no longer defined by quarterly earnings or market capitalization. Instead, it became measured by tangible human impact. How many lives could be meaningfully transformed through technological innovation? The medical journey was complex and nonlinear. Rehabilitation became a collaborative process, with Viktor providing not just financial support, but genuine emotional engagement. Viktor's involvement transcended traditional philanthropic models. He became actively invested in Daniel's recovery and future potential. Specific interventions included covering comprehensive medical expenses, funding specialized rehabilitation technologies, providing educational support for Daniel's continued engineering studies, creating a personalized recovery and professional development strategy. The ripple effects of this personal metamorphosis extended far beyond individual experiences. Viktor's fundamental reimagining of technological innovation began influencing broader industry conversations. Peer technology entrepreneurs found themselves challenged by this new paradigm, a model that suggested corporate success could be simultaneously profitable and profoundly humanistic. What had begun as a response to a single accident transformed into a comprehensive philosophy of human-centered technological development. Daniel, even during his recovery, became an unexpected partner in this journey, his lived experiences providing crucial insights into technological innovation's human dimensions. Roles became beautifully, unexpectedly fluid. Daniel, initially hired as a housekeeper, emerged as a crucial strategic advisor, his community-centered perspective becoming an invaluable asset in reimagining technological potential. Viktor discovered that true innovation emerged not from isolated genius, but from diverse perspectives working in genuine collaboration. The relationship between Viktor and Daniel defied conventional narratives. It wasn't a story of savior and saved, of wealthy benefactor and grateful recipient. Instead, it represented a genuine partnership, a mutual journey of human discovery. As months passed, the initial accident became less a moment of tragedy and more a pivotal point of human connection. The Martinez family's resilience, Daniel's extraordinary determination, and Viktor's willingness to fundamentally reimagine his worldview created a powerful testament to human potential.